two other presenters. I have two other presenters with me today. One is an alum, so he was able to access, but I've got another person who might still be in the waiting room, James. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for giving up some time today. I don't know if it's your lunchtime or just the middle of the day. I'm sure you all have very busy schedules, but thank you all for taking some time out of your day to join us and learn more about Toyota, North Carolina, and the batteries that we make here at our site. My name is Paige Woods, and I'm an operations program leader. I've been with Toyota since June of last year, so that 1 year is coming up quicker than I expected. It's been a joy to be here so far, and I can't wait to share more about what I love about Toyota with you all. Before we get started, though, I did want to have my other presenters introduce themselves. Are you all able to hear James?
Nope. All right.
Nope. All right. He'll come over here.
All right. So good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me now? All right. So my name's James Haynes. I'm the senior manager for continuous improvement here in Toyota, North Carolina. The last 10 years or so, I'm fairly new to Toyota, but I was able to bring a lot of experience over the last 10 years in the automotive field, down in BMW in South Carolina, everywhere from production and quality. Their training and development and HR. I've worn many hats and been around many different departments to help make them help with structure and process and different ways that we can lean. And I don't know if there's any Lean Six Sigma participants online, but yes, with that kind of methodology and thought process, it aligns very closely to TPS and the things we do here in Toyota. So when we start talking about ways that we can reduce impact, and especially even from environmental standards and things like that, it's a great bridge, and they're doing a lot of innovative things here in North Carolina. I'm proud to be a part of that team. Glad to be sharing this information with you and kind of going over some high level things. So with that, I'll turn it over to Scott for a brief introduction.
All righty. Good afternoon, everybody.
Sorry, everyone. Like I said, we're teams, so we're having some difficulties. Let me figure out how to mute our second screen that we've got going on in here. Give us just a moment, and thank you so much for being flexible with us.
Of course, take your time.
Okay, we are winging it, and I'm going to actually have Scott just come over here and present from my computer as well. Luckily, we are all here together in the same room, so it worked out.
Hello. Sorry for the technical difficulties. As Paige said, we are a Teams group, so Zoom is very foreign to us. But thank you guys for joining. My name is Scott Stewart Jr. I'm a TOPS trainee here at Toyota, North Carolina, and I am also a UNC Charlotte graduate. I just graduated this past December with my bachelor's in mechanical engineering and technology, so I'm officially an alumni, which is very weird to say. So I've only been with Toyota since January, so it's only been about 4 months, and I've really been enjoying it so far. And some of the things that I've been doing that I did at UNC Charlotte, getting involved with the ETCM community and doing international student events, getting to know people and meet new people has been some of my favorite things to do when I was at Charlotte. And now being able to come back here and meet everyone else and pass my story along is very exciting. So, yeah.
Thanks, Scott. All right, thank you, Scott, and thank you all again for being flexible with us, and also thank you to Amy for this opportunity to be here today and for setting the call up and all of that. We're really appreciative of you and the partnership. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, the first, to start off, I did want to give a brief overview of what we plan to cover today. So we're going to share a little bit about who Toyota is as a whole. For those of you that maybe haven't had a chance to hear Toyota's message related to employment, I'm sure you've all seen commercials on TV about buying our cars, but the message, changes when we're talking about working for Toyota just a little bit. Then we're going to talk about our Beyond Zero vision and commitment to electrification, moving into lithium-ion battery production from there. Then we're going to do a little plug for our Toyota North Carolina operational program, which Scott is a part of. And we'll close out with some question and answer today. Okay. Oh, looks like my screen sharing stopped. All right. Can everybody see my slides?
Yes.
Excellent. So first, I wanted to cover, like I said, who is Toyota? So how do we maintain our reputation for quality over all of these years? And so we do this, or this work starts through our mission, vision, and values, which really set the tone for our workforce and guide our decision-making at all levels of our organization. It also helps to determine if Toyota is possibly a good fit for you and your future career goals and things you're looking to accomplish. So starting off, our mission, which is just another way of saying, like, this is our current purpose, our objective, what we do. Our mission is producing happiness for all. And so this goes beyond manufacturing cars. We want to foster universal joy. We make the happiness of others our top priority, and we believe that the impossible is possible. Our vision is just our aspirational future, our long-term kind of North Star. And so that vision is creating mobility for all. So we strive to raise the quality and availability of mobility so individuals, businesses, municipalities, and communities can do more while achieving a sustainable relationship with our planet. And finally, our values are the Toyota way. So these are the principles and beliefs that guide our actions. The Toyota way is actually comprised of 10 different tenets, and I'm not going to cover all of these 10 tenets, but I did want to show them to you. Our top 2 Toyota way values are indicated by the red star on the slide, and those are continue the quest for improvement, or Kaizen, and show respect for people. So, like I said, these values guide our work, our interaction, and the way in which we achieve our goals and bring our value to the world. We believe the values are the path to an ideal society, and this pathway is pioneered by everyone who works for Toyota. So we expect everyone to understand our values, to bring them to life in the work that we do, and to recognize others who are doing a really good job of living these values and bringing them to life. And let me say, if anybody has questions throughout the presentation, please stop. If it's a longer question or we're going to cover it later in the presentation, we might say, we'll touch on this in a second, or let's wait till the end. But please do feel free to just jump in if you have a question. All right, so I wanted to switch gears and dive into Toyota's U.S. operations. So Toyota has been part of the cultural fabric of the United States for 65 years, more than 65 years, actually. We have 15 different sites across the United States. 10 of those are manufacturing, and you can see them on this map here. You can even see which cars we put together in which sites. Our site in Liberty, North Carolina, which is just kind of southeast of Greensboro, is responsible for producing batteries, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And we are newish, so go into that in more detail in just a second. We have 4 additional sites in North America, 2 in Canada, 2 in Mexico, and overall, 90% of the vehicles sold in the U.S., Toyota vehicles, are assembled here in North America. So now I'm going to turn it over to James. He's going to discuss more about Toyota North Carolina specifically and Toyota's overall commitment to electrification.
All right, can everybody hear me all right? All right, I'm going to speak a little louder because it's going to be on Paige's laptop over in the corner, but still. So yes, so what kind of makes Toyota North Carolina unique, right? So we're the first battery plant in North America. There are a couple others that are actually kind of scheduled out too, in the future. So, I mean, this is a huge undertaking. You got to think if we look at the actual footprint of what that looks like in Liberty, North Carolina, that's a 2-mile by 2-mile facility. So you're talking huge. It was one of the largest groundbreaking achievements in the 2020s, especially on the East Coast, right? So this was huge. The state of North Carolina invested not only resource, but even with their Department of Transportation on building bridges. We have a new highway that's dedicated just for us that they brought in. So, I mean, this was a huge project. But basically, the whole plant in general is over 7 million square feet. We do produce the lithium-ion batteries. There's going to be 14 production lines. You got to think when we're talking about diversifying what kind of batteries are we making. So we actually go from a HEV, which is that hybrid electric, which charges internally through the combination of an ICE or internal combustion engine. We have a full BEV or battery electric vehicle that the cells are much bigger because again that demand for the power and the strain and being able to kind of convert that over. It's a much bigger line, but also even as we're getting in with plug-in hybrid, to where you can kind of do the best of both worlds and still have that electric vehicle for low travel conditions or city driving, but still have the regular internal combustion to be able to do long-term travel. So again, we've kind of thought of it in different buckets to be able to make sure that we're satisfying market demand for all customers. And a big part of that too, when we talk about the town of Liberty, Liberty itself consists of about 2,000 people, right? So this was a huge undertaking even for this area and for this county. Because even though we've hired in that 1,200, we are going to be, when everything's said and done, we'll have about 5,100 people here, right? So we've got a small town, we've got our own fire departments, we have a employee mall that has a Walmart in it, right? So these are the kind of things that we want to make sure that there's good benefits for all of our team members because it really starts with them. Even daycare facilities, I think there's a future gym that's actually even planned. So from all aspects, so not only just working and producing batteries to go out to all of these other plants to support the electrification process, but even community-wise too, we're developing and growing the community right here in North Carolina. So when we start talking about that beyond zero vision, right? So even one battery electric car, because of the amount of material, you got to think that's about a 3.7 reduction in the carbon footprint versus just an internal combustion engine. But even like I was referencing before, as we look at different ways we can do that, if we did that just with a hybrid electric with the plug-in, that's about 19. And then with that full, not full hybrid, but the hybrid charging system itself, that's about 130 tons. So you can see there's a lot of ways that Toyota can actually diversify to help reduce that carbon footprint. And our total goal in 2030 of having these different initiatives in place to make sure that we are doing what we can for the environment. And even with that commitment to electrification. So what you see is a model of pretty much every car or truck that Toyota makes, including Lexus. So by 2030, there's supposed to be an electric version of every single one of these cars. So it doesn't mean we're going to try to just push electric, because again, family demands, market demands, there's different needs for different things, but Toyota wants to make sure that there is that electric option for each one of these vehicles, whether it's going to be just for full electric for that range, using that hybrid electric to even give an increase in horsepower or towing capability for the trucks and the SUVs. They've thought about it from all angles and being able to kind of incorporate that for that strategy, and knowing that we play a big piece of that because this is the battery manufacturer for North America. We ship worldwide. We are the best battery company. I can go ahead and say that for all of North America and for all of Toyota. So this is a big deal for us as well.
Great. Thank you, James.
All right, thank you, James. And with that, since all of those gorgeous looking vehicles are eventually going to have an electric version or already have a hybrid version, how are we, one plant, one facility, going to make all of the batteries for all of these cars? And as James also mentioned, we are the only battery plant for Toyota worldwide. So this video, it's around 5 minutes long, will show you Toyota's way on how we make batteries from start to finish. And it'll also go into sort of what encompasses a battery, the components of it, and what we're going to be manufacturing here at Toyota North Carolina.
Hold, please, having sound difficulties.
That might be on our side. Is audio playing on yours?
I've
No,
stopped it.
no audio.
No audio. Okay, well,
Turn on the subtitles.
yeah, we've got subtitles. I'll read them, unless Scott, you would like to read them. Okay. So at Toyota, we believe in the need to reduce carbon emissions across all our operations and products so that we do our part to ensure a good future. Hybrid electric vehicles. Oh man, I'm not going to try to keep up. I'm sorry.
This is a great visual representation of what actual battery process looks like. Sorry for the loss of audio, but even from the pictures and the way that the diagrams here are expanded, we can see the different things that actually come together. And all the way down to that cell from the end place, the resin frame, all of that is produced in-house. The only thing that actually gets brought in from supplier from our tier 1 and tier 2 are the case, bus bar, and that cover itself. So everything else is actually made from the battery itself, the slurry, from the electrode, anode, and cathode coating. All of that is brought together right here. So this is a nice little diagram of the inside. That winding body is also called a jelly roll, not to be confused with the wrapper. So I think that's about a little over 3 meters of material. Oh, there we go.
Stopped again. Okay, now can you all thumbs up if you can hear the video? No? Amy says no. Okay. All right, so this is a little bit more about our actual facility, our site. We have sections that are split off for the different areas of the battery manufacturing process. This first one covers the material that goes to make anode and cathode, which are your positive and negatives. Scott, would you like to speak more on this since this is your area?
Yes, so currently
Go ahead.
Power Tops.
Okay, yes, I'm going to pause it.
Yes, so currently Power Tops program, my first rotation is in the engineering services department. And in the engineering services department, I'm part of electrode. So this section is the beginning of the plant. This is where we take all of the raw materials, our bomite, our slurry mix, our IPL, we mix them all together, and then we coat on the aluminum foil and the copper foil to create the very first part of battery. So this is where the battery pretty much starts its life, and that's where I'm spending my first rotation at here at Toyota.
Great, thank you, Scott. We're going to start this back up again. So once the slurry has been coated on the two films that Scott referenced, either aluminum or copper, the films are wound up, and then pressed down into like flat, what James said was jelly roll. We then go in and move that jelly roll through the different parts of the process where it's placed into the can on the outside. Well, first it's placed into a bag, then it's placed into a can. Then it gets the top put on the battery. Let's see. Okay, Jim.
Go ahead, you can finish up. So yeah, so the assembly of it actually goes through while all of the material is open. So as it goes through that last little part for the can insertion and then moves into the electrolyte fill, you got to think we're trying to displace all of the air and make sure from an oxidation standpoint and any kind of reaction that we keep it concealed. And the video that's about to kick in is talking about our clean room environments too, because when we start talking about making batteries, the biggest influence and the biggest thing that can actually damage them is contamination, right? So we have to make sure from a contamination standpoint that everything's out. So just as an example, the kind of things that we were finding during the initial testing is there was a vending machine in the hallway that had a compressor motor that was about to go out that was throwing dust particle into the air. The collector wasn't working the way that it was supposed to, and those dust particles from the brushes on that compressor ended up making its way into the slurry mix, and we were finding those kind of particulates causing contamination. So it's a very big deal. It's a very big process because you got to think when we talk about Toyota, we talk about reliability, and customer is always number one. So we have to do everything that we can to make sure that that level of or that commitment to quality and commitment to reliability is in every piece of material that leaves this facility.
And piggybacking off of that, the amount of quality and detail that we at Toyota look at is smaller than a single red blood cell. That is the level of detail we're looking at with these batteries.
We have some tools to help with that. We don't expect your eye to see it though. Just a little joke for you there. Okay, we're gonna keep moving through this video. I'll pick it up here in a second. Oh, it's going more in depth into how that machine works. Let's see if I can skip it through a couple of.
Goes through some X-ray machines, goes through a huge drying process, and then into slitting, where it takes the giant roll and cuts it in half. We have separator rolls in between the anode and cathode to make sure that we don't have any shorts, right? So we don't want it to short circuit.
There we are, pressing the jelly roll to fit within the external can that makes the battery cell. We attach that jelly roll to the sealing plate, sealing body, and that's what has those positive and negative terminals on it. And then after that is attached, we stick the jelly roll within a bag and take all the air out. And then that whole unit is welded together into the can. Again, ensuring that we're sealing it, no external particles are getting into. And what you see now is the electrolyte fill. So that's filling it up with the liquid that helps with the transfer of positive and negative through battery usage and then recharging. Once we have done that, we seal it with the little tiny circle that you just saw.
Welded in.
It's welded in shut, and then it goes on to its first charge and inspection, just to make sure that thus far everything is up to standard and at the quality level that we hope to see. We use QR codes to link everything so we can trace and follow each individual cell and lot through the manufacturing process. You'll see lots of robots. This is a highly automated process. We have team members. There are some manual processes towards the end of the production cycle, but early on we use a lot of automation. So our team members are responsible for managing the machines and raising any issues that they see. After it's gone through the whole aging process and ensuring that everything's good, that's when we move it into the overall stack where you put multiple cells together and then put it within that pack, which then you see here the forklifts are shipping those packs out to other installation or to other manufacturing sites where we put our cars together. We do also have the capacity to produce batteries for other automobile manufacturers if that's what they're interested in buying our product. All right, now I'm going to transition it over to Scott.
All righty, thank you, Paige, so much, and apologies for the volume, but I hope that was very informative. I love that video. It was very cool. Get to see the whole process. But moving into more of career paths and way that you can be a part of Toyota. I know we've sort of mentioned it a few times throughout the presentation so far, this TOPS program, TOPS trainee. So I am a TOPS trainee, but what exactly is that? So TOPS is a 2-year development program that you'll be able to start your career here at Toyota. And throughout these 2 years, you'll go through and develop in 3 key areas. You'll have on-the-job training, which is similar to what I mentioned, the area that I've been working in, on-the-job training, seeing the machines, seeing how the whole process works. And then you'll be developed with networking and mentorship. You'll be paired with a mentor for the entire 2 years of your stay during TOPS. And you'll also be able to expand your network throughout the 3 rotations. And while you're doing your rotations and you're on-the-job training, you'll have your soft skill developments, and this all kind of combines into what the goal of the TOPS program is here at Toyota. And the 3 key areas that you'll be rotating through, if you are to join through TOPS, is going to be the production, support services, and site administration. And currently, these are our 4 TOPS trainees for this year. And the program just started this year, so it's brand new. So we're all very excited and very eager to get new talent in. And as someone who just graduated from UNC Charlotte, you guys can definitely make your way over here too. So, but going into the more 3 rotations, being a group leader responsible for a module area, so you'll be able to go out and see the production process, or you'll be a support services, whether that be quality or engineering, and then site administration, being an analyst for either production control, accounting, and finance. And all of these 3 areas, and then after, in my opinion, the best part, after you rotate through these 3 areas and after your 2 years are done, you'll be placed out into a final position into one of the 3 areas that you rotated in, and then you can go and start your own career here at Toyota.
Great, thank you, Scott. And one other key thing, just a frequently asked question that we get a lot, all of this program is contained within our site here at Toyota, North Carolina. So we've got a lot going on here. It's not that you would be doing these things at different manufacturing facilities. It would all be here, and then your final placement would also be here at Toyota, North Carolina. Okay, so Toyota strives to offer best-in-town benefits for employees. You'll see those highlighted on the left of the screen. I wanted to take more of a focus, though, on the additional TOPS program benefits, just because this program is my job. And so the main reason that I was hoping to speak with you all today is to get the word out about this program and potential possibility for you if you're graduating in December of this year or May of next year. So Scott had mentioned we've got mentorships components, so that helps you further learn more about Toyota, the Toyota way, and get ingrained within the network here and establish yourself within our company. We also do a lot of networking and interaction with our senior management and executive team. And the best thing, in my opinion, other than what Scott said with you getting a job, is that the 2 years you're trying out 3 different jobs, right? So you're not just getting a job, you get this opportunity to figure out where do you fit best within our organization, what helps you most as you progress towards your future and your kind of career goals that you have long term. And that would be really hard to do, to figure that out within your first 2 years of a job. You probably only get to work in one area within the first 2 years, but we've designed this so that you get that broad perspective and can figure out where you would make the most impact with your skill set down the line. Okay, so now we are going to move into the question and answer portion. I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen for a second. Whoops. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Okay, excellent. I figured out how to do it. So if anybody has any questions for us about the content that we shared or working at Toyota in general, please let us know.
Hi. At the end of the TOPS training, at the end of the 2 years, how much of where you go after that is like your say versus needs of the company?
Yeah, so I'll actually fill that one, Brian. Great question. So you got to think. So you're familiar with internships and co-ops, like normal traditional. I mean, you have fixed times, right? So one of the cool things, especially since this is an opportunity because you're working towards your final career, you're going through all of these different departments. You're interacting and networking with multiple managers, even from the senior level, like myself, or even the executive level, which that picture that kind of showcased the first 4. That whole back row, you had Paige, you had Sean Suggs, which is the actual president, Eddie Bailey, who's the general manager over all production, Don Stewart, who was the vice president. All of those names and people, I mean, they're all actively involved, right? So they have their individual groups. Having that kind of exposure and going through those different rotations also would put the candidate up for a great chance that if there's multiple jobs that are open and you've run through and those managers like you, or you've proven yourself that, hey, this is actually something I like. There's a lot of times where we'll see that you'll have people fighting over you, and you'll have the opportunity to be like, hey, well, I've got a job opportunity in production control. I've got a job opportunity doing internal logistics or down in production. I mean, you name it, engineering services. Trust me, they want the talent. When we bring in TOPS, we're bringing the best of the best, right? So we make sure that the people that are here, they want to be here, that the drive and passion and everything is there. They see that and they want that to be part of their team too, right? So there's a good chance that you'll have multiple offers. And to kind of bring it back to your question, it's really going to be up to you. What do you see as your best fit if that case were to happen?
That was a good question. Thank you,
Thank-
Brian.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, other questions?
I had a quick question about the batteries that are going to be produced. Are they all one type of chemistry, like NMC, and are they all like, I saw you guys are making prismatic cells, is that correct?
Yes, yes. Scott, do you have insight into that?
A little bit.
Okay.
I know I'm currently just involved with HEV. So, as far as I know, the actual chemical process between our HEV and BEV batteries should all be the same. There shouldn't be any differences, any different chemicals. It's all the same process, just different styles depending on which battery we're making.
Yeah, it's all tried and true. It is all prismatic cell that we create here. As technology, starts to surpass our current usage and the infrastructure on what we can support, right? Because you've got different things you hear from solid state and different chemistry, even with some of the sodium ion stuff that might be out now. Until it's tried and true, and that's one thing that Toyota is really big on. They want to make sure that it's stable, that it's safe, and it's repeatable before it actually goes in any kind of production. So, kind of with that mindset, as the need gets there and as the market needs to move to those kind of chemistry models or what that next model might look like, we do have active teams that look at those next versions, but we're always going to make sure again that we're hitting those main buckets of consistent, reliable, and cost effective for customer.
Thank you. And one more question. Do you guys do like R&D on site in the North Carolina plant in the future, or is it just manufacturing?
So we have a little bit, I'm sorry to keep hogging all these answers. So we do a little bit of the R&D work here, but a majority of it, we have a R&D research facility in Michigan that's really heavily with the more automotive side, but they've broken out. We do have a battery department up there. But a lot of this so even given a little bit of backstory, God, I hope you get comfortable. So when we start talking about the way that this kind of came to, right? So when Toyota looks to try to do anything or become the best at it, they look at who does the best job right now and how can we learn from them and how can we beat them, right? So when this plant was actually first introduced, this was a partnership with Panasonic. So we originally had a lot of the Panasonic designs. They were going to be a big part of this. But then after we kind of got all of the information and realized that this was something that would be a great opportunity for Toyota, they took it as 100% venture and kind of did it that way, right? So we still have a lot of help and support from our Japanese counterparts, not only with Toyota, but also with Panasonic, because again, this is a lot of the stuff that they were originally invested in as well. So as we're kind of moving forward, yes, we have research development stateside, not only within the plant, but in Michigan, but also in across the seas with a couple different big battery manufacturers in Japan as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. So currently I'm graduating in December this year and I like this program. So I was just wondering, are there any requirements that we have to kind of fulfill to be part of this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. So the main requirements are that you have a degree, earned degree in engineering, any of the engineering areas, or there are some technical business areas, but I believe most of the folks we're speaking to today are engineers. So check, you've done that. We also look for folks who have previous internship, job, co-op, and or research experience, just to show that you've kind of already started developing your career skills. And then the final like big one is GPA. So we're still setting our requirements for the upcoming recruitment group, which would be that December 25 and May 26 graduation timeframe. But if I remember correctly, last year it was somewhere between 2.7 or 3.0 cumulative GPA that you graduated with. And then from there, we look for folks that are kind of people-oriented, customer first mindset. Customer doesn't necessarily just mean the person buying the car. It also means your person in your next process that you're sending your product to, your coworker sitting at the desk beside you. So kind of having that, again, that respect for people that mindset that I referenced earlier, as well as a continuous improvement mindset. We really do look for kind of those as our top things. We always say you can help people develop technical knowledge, but some of those just kind of core values, soft skills. I've heard them referred to as power skills recently. They're not things that you can teach as easily. So we do heavily focus on that.
Thank you. So actually, I'm majoring in computer science and towards AI and data science. Do you think that could be a part of it, or?
Well, I would encourage you to consider if the specific program is really what the end result is really what you're interested in. So we're producing folks who are prepared to work in the manufacturing environment, whether that be through engineering, line support, process work, process engineering, quality control, inspection, root cause analysis, that sort of thing, supply chain skill set, as well as people development and manufacturing in the manufacturing environment. So working with our team members on the floor. So if those things kind of align with your future career goals and you've got some maybe class or personal experience to back that up from your previous things you've been involved with, then sure, yeah, it's definitely could be a good fit. But if those kind of future paths don't really align with what you're looking to do, then the program's probably not going to be the best for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have just a couple more minutes. I don't have any other content except for one slide to throw up there. So kind of last call for questions.
So I have a question. You're here mainly, it seems like, for the TOPS program. I'm kind of curious about other prospects beyond the TOPS program. If you have anything to commentate on about that.
Sure. James?
Yeah, so there's honestly, that next slide, does it have the Toyota careers?
It sends them to our interest list, but the next slide does have our email.
Okay,
So
if you're definitely interested, if you wouldn't mind just reaching out you could just send it to mine or Paige, just to open up that line of communication, and we can send the link to everything that's available within Toyota North Carolina, or even you can search nationwide. If you're not locked into North Carolina, there's definitely a lot of opportunity. You got to think our headquarters is in Plano, so if you want to go get some sun out in Texas, there's a lot of opportunity out there as well. Does that answer your question, Richard?
Yes, thank you.
all right, I see Rustam, you have your hand raised. Well, I can't hear you.
Sounds like you're muted.
And if you'd rather, you can type your question in the chat if that's if your speaker's not working, or your microphone, I guess is the better term. And while Rustam figures out that or types his question, does anybody else have?
Yes, how are you? So you already kind of like showed on one slide that you're not sponsoring for F1s. That could be like specifically for the TOPS program, but what about like any other like full times? I kind of like be graduating like next spring semester, like May 2026. But I was just wondering if you still have like some full time for F1s or not at all on Toyota.
Yeah, that's a good question. Toyota generally does not sponsor for entry-level positions for F1 visa. That's going to be across corporate policy. I can't think of any positions that I've run across that haven't had that disclaimer.
They pretty much put that cap on all positions now.
Yeah, so I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
Paige, I'm just wondering, did you already discuss this? But if there's opportunities for our students to want to go work in another country and they're legally able to do that, is that something your company encourages?
Yeah, that's a great question, Linda. James, want to talk about ICT? I don't know anything other than ICT.
I'm not strong enough to speak on it within a group. So that's a great question and something we can definitely follow up and maybe send some literature out about.
Yes, I can speak to the fact that some of our positions are specifically posted with the intent of sending people to Japan. So, for example, we have a manager position open right now that the goal is that person will go to Japan for 2 years and work over there to get some of that battery knowledge that James was referring to earlier and bring it back. There's also shorter trips, like when there's VTOs trying out machines before they're shipped over here. We'll sometimes send some of our team members over there, whether it be engineering or production leadership to run through those trials. But yeah, we can follow up with some additional information on opportunities for international work aside from that. All right, Rustam, I see your hand again. Are you ready?
Yeah, I believe I'm ready. It's
Yes.
working now. Yep. Well, I do have a question, and before I answer that question, I feel like I should have a bit of background knowledge. I'm an electromechanical engineering technology student who is set to graduate in spring of 2027, and I have for a good portion of my recent life have had a significant interest in battery electric vehicles and renewable energy generation and in general green energy technology. And so I do have a very significant interest in this position, but I did learn that from what I understand that this is only for those who are graduating between 2025 and 2026. I'm wondering can I do to prepare for the recruitment session after that?
That's a great question. And thank you for bringing up thank you for bringing it. Because while right now I'm just thinking about the next recruitment cycle, this program will continue. So we will be not this fall, but fall 26 recruiting for our December 26 and May 27 graduates. So the slide I'm going to throw up here on the screen in a second has a QR code, and you can express interest in the program regardless of graduation year. We'll ask you to tell us what that is, but that adds you to our database so we can stay in contact with you. And when it does come time for you to be interested in applying, you're getting closer to graduation, then you would receive information on that application link and timeline and all of that. So I'm going to put that slide up right now. Let me share my screen again and try to not mess this up too bad. Okay, so just because I can't figure out how to switch it over, I am going to
We've got it.
excellent. So there it is. And it's 1 o'clock now, so I don't want to keep anybody past the set time. I'm sure there's other things going on, but feel free to just take a picture of the slide. Our email addresses are there so you can follow up with any questions or ask about those other employment opportunities. And the QR code is to a form to specifically express interest in our program. So thank you all so much for being with us here today. I really enjoyed the conversation. Again, I'm so sorry about all of the technical difficulties we had, but thank you all so much for just rolling through it with us. That's how we do things here in the work world. You got to just roll with what you're given. But this was a great session. Thank you all for coming. Thank you again, Amy, for setting this up. And we look forward to.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, James. We appreciate everyone's time today. And I'll stay on so everyone can get the QR code. Thank you, everyone, for coming this afternoon. We do more events as part of our Engineering, Manufacturing, and Energy Week, and I put the link to those events in the chat. So thank you all.
Thank you.